In the quiet hum of a city high-rise in 1998, a woman stepped into the elevator and pressed the button for the 14th floor. The elevator began its familiar ascent, lights flickering softly above her head. But when the doors slid open, something was terribly wrong. The floor was empty. No bustling office workers, no echoing footsteps, no signs of life at all. It was as if the entire world had vanished in the blink of an eye. Or maybe she had never been there at all. Her name was Laura, an ordinary woman caught in an extraordinary moment. That day started like any other, coffee in hand, a briefcase filled with papers, and the same elevator ride she took every morning. But the silence that greeted her was anything but ordinary. It was chilling, unsettling, like walking into a forgotten place suspended in time. The air was still. The fluorescent lights flickered uncertainly, and the usual hum of computers and chatter was replaced by an eerie void. What had happened on the 14th floor? Had Laura stepped into a strange kind of limbo, or was something far darker at play? This question haunted everyone who later heard the story, driving an investigation filled with more questions than answers. Some said she had disappeared without a trace. Others whispered about alternate realities and shadowy forces that toy with perception. As the elevator doors closed behind her, the mystery deepened. Did Laura truly exist in that moment? Or was she caught between worlds? The office building itself seemed to hold its breath, guarding its secrets. Days turned into weeks, and the silence of the 14th floor grew heavier, becoming a symbol of a truth no one dared to face. Tonight, we dive deep into the chilling story of that fateful elevator ride. We'll explore the strange circumstances, the unexplained phenomena, and the haunting question: what really happened to Laura on the 14th floor in 1998? Stay with me as we unravel a tale that blends reality and mystery, leaving us wondering if some doors are better left unopened. And just when you think you might understand, the story takes an unexpected turn, one that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. Laura's story wasn't just about a missing floor or an empty hallway. It was about the life she lived before that strange day in 1998. She was known as a dedicated employee, someone who always arrived early and stayed late, hoping to climb the ranks at a company where success felt just out of reach. Her world was small but full of routine. Coffee breaks with the same colleagues, paperwork stacked high on her desk, and quiet evenings alone in a modest apartment not far from the building where she worked. But beneath that calm exterior was a woman struggling with doubts and fears she never voiced. Laura had been feeling disconnected, like parts of her were slipping away even before that elevator ride. She'd started questioning if the path she was on really mattered, or if she was trapped in a cycle she couldn't escape. Friends noticed her growing silence, her distracted gaze, and the way she sometimes stared out windows as if searching for something beyond the city skyline. On that morning, as she pressed the button for the 14th floor, there was a flicker of hope in her heart. Maybe today would be different. Maybe she would find a new opportunity, a fresh start, or even a sign that she wasn't alone in feeling lost. But when the elevator doors opened to that empty space, all those hopes evaporated into a chilling uncertainty. The building itself became a character in this story. Years before, it had been the site of whispered rumors, stories of unexplained disappearances and strange occurrences that no one wanted to talk about openly. Some employees claimed to hear faint voices late at night, or to see shadows moving just beyond the corner of their eyes. But these were dismissed as nothing more than urban legends. Until Laura. As days passed after her disappearance, investigators combed through records and interviewed co-workers, but no one could explain the empty floor or the strange silence that followed. Cameras showed the elevator stopping, doors opening and closing again, but no sign of Laura stepping out. It was as if the elevator had taken her somewhere beyond reach. The emotional weight of her absence rippled through the lives of those she left behind. Colleagues were haunted by the last moments they shared with her, the awkward goodbye, the unanswered questions. Family members clung to hope while battling the growing fear that something unexplainable had claimed her. This was not just a missing person case. It was a mystery that challenged everything people believed about reality. What if the elevator opened to a place that wasn't part of this world? Or what if Laura herself had stepped into a version of her own life that never truly existed? The tension grew heavier with every unanswered question. What really happened on that 14th floor? And was Laura still there, trapped between worlds, or had she vanished without a trace? The more Laura's disappearance sank into the quiet corners of that office building, the more cracks began to show in the people left behind. Her closest colleague, Mark, found himself wrestling with a gnawing guilt. They had argued the day before over a missed deadline, a harsh word exchanged in frustration. Now, with Laura gone, Mark couldn't stop replaying their last conversation, wondering if things might have been different had he been kinder, more patient. Was there something he missed? A sign or a warning? Meanwhile, the company's management faced their own crisis. Pressure mounted from higher-ups and media curiosity. To admit there was a mysterious, empty floor where someone vanished might damage the firm's reputation. So the official story was carefully controlled, labeled as a temporary technical issue, a glitch in the elevator system. But whispers of cover-ups began to spread among employees, fueling paranoia and fear. Some spoke of odd glitches, phones not working on the 14th floor, lights flickering in strange patterns, and even reports of cold drafts in sealed rooms. As investigators dug deeper, they uncovered a troubling history. Several employees had reported strange experiences in that building over the years, from sudden headaches and dizziness to losing chunks of time. A janitor who worked the night shift mentioned hearing footsteps in empty halls and feeling watched. These pieces began to form a puzzle far bigger than Laura's disappearance. The tension grew inside Laura's family as well. Her younger sister, Emily, refused to accept the official story. She sensed something sinister and began her own quiet investigation, poring over Laura's journals and emails for clues. What Emily found were cryptic entries hinting at fear, confusion, and something she called the other place. Was Laura aware of a hidden reality lurking beneath the surface? This growing suspicion clashed with Laura's fiancé, David, who struggled between hope and despair. He wanted to believe she would come back, but he also feared losing her forever. David's grief began to cloud his judgment, causing strain in his relationships and leading him down dangerous paths of obsession. At the heart of it all was the elevator itself, an ordinary machine with an extraordinary secret. Some theorized it was a portal, a gateway to somewhere else entirely. Others claimed it was a trap, feeding on the fears and regrets of those who dared to ride it. But no one knew for sure. The building seemed to resist being understood, holding its secrets tight. And the people caught in this web found themselves facing impossible choices: to keep searching or let go, to trust what they see or question their own minds. The line between reality and illusion blurred. Was Laura's disappearance a tragic accident, a supernatural event, or something in between? The answers remained just out of reach, and every attempt to uncover the truth only pulled the survivors deeper into the unknown. As the elevator continued to rise and fall, opening its doors to empty halls and silent spaces, the question lingered. Was the 14th floor a place of endings, or could it be a beginning of something far more unsettling? Every moment brought the tension closer to a breaking point. Mark's guilt had turned into obsession. He stayed late in the office, replaying every detail of his last day with Laura. His eyes burned from staring at grainy security footage, hoping to catch a glimpse of something, anything, that explained her disappearance. But each frame showed only the empty elevator doors opening onto a silent, lifeless floor. No sign of Laura. No answers. Emily, meanwhile, had uncovered something that chilled her to the bone. Hidden in Laura's journal was a cryptic message. "The elevator knows where I am, but doesn't want me to come back." She showed it to David, hoping to find a shared sense of hope, but his face hardened with a mix of fear and frustration. "We need to stop chasing ghosts," he said, but his hands trembled. The more they searched, the more the line between reality and nightmare blurred. Whispers of the other place grew louder. Employees started avoiding the 14th floor entirely. Strange noises echoed through the halls. Faint tapping, distant whispers, sounds no one could explain. The building felt alive, almost aware, like it was watching and waiting. One night, Mark decided to confront the elevator. Alone in the near-empty building, he pressed the button for the 14th floor. The elevator hummed to life, lights blinking erratically. The doors slid open to that now infamous empty corridor. He stepped out. The silence pressed in on him like a physical force. Then, from the shadows, a whisper, soft but unmistakable, called his name. His heart pounded. He spun around, but the hallway was empty. Just the flickering lights and the faint scent of something forgotten. He wanted to turn back, to flee, but his feet moved forward. There was something he needed to see, something he had missed. Meanwhile, Emily confronted the building's security chief. What she learned shook her to the core. There were unexplained gaps in the surveillance footage, times when cameras stopped working entirely on the 14th floor. And those missing minutes coincided exactly with Laura's last known movements. David, spiraling deeper into despair, began to withdraw from those trying to help him. His nights were restless, haunted by dreams where Laura's voice called to him from behind closed elevator doors. He was torn between accepting the truth and fighting to pull her back from whatever darkness had swallowed her. Tensions between Mark, Emily, and David reached a boiling point. Accusations flew. Was someone hiding something? Could they trust each other? The answers seemed just beyond reach, wrapped in layers of fear and suspicion. As the elevator doors closed one more time, the question hung heavy in the air. What waited on the other side? And who, or what, was pulling the strings in the shadows? The 14th floor was no longer just a place in a building. It had become a mystery that threatened to unravel everything they thought they knew about Laura and themselves. Just when it seemed the mystery couldn't deepen any further, the truth hit them like a shockwave. Emily discovered something in Laura's old emails. A hidden conversation between Laura and someone inside the company. A voice warning her to stop digging into the 14th floor. The email was cryptic, almost threatening. Some doors are meant to stay closed. Don't bring this into the light. But the real shock wasn't the warning. It was the sender's name. It was Mark. Mark had been hiding more than guilt. Behind his remorse was a secret he desperately tried to keep buried. He wasn't just a concerned co-worker. He was part of something far darker, a group within the company aware of the elevator's true nature. They had been protecting the building's secret for years, silencing anyone who came too close. Laura's disappearance was no accident. It was a warning. Emily confronted Mark, her voice trembling with betrayal. "Why didn't you tell me? Why, Laura?" Mark's face crumpled with regret, but he couldn't deny the truth anymore. He confessed to being part of a cover-up, afraid of what the truth might unleash. But deep down, he wanted to find Laura too, trapped somewhere between reality and nightmare. Across town, David was making a choice of his own. Desperation drove him to visit an old, forgotten part of the building, an abandoned sub-basement rumored to hold clues no one dared to seek. As he descended the dark stairs, his phone's flashlight flickered. The air grew colder, heavier. Somewhere in the silence, a faint sound echoed, an elevator bell. Suddenly, the story split into two paths. Mark and Emily racing against time inside the main building, and David delving deeper into shadows below. Each step they took brought them closer to a truth that could shatter everything. But the question remained, would uncovering the secret save Laura, or doom them all? The stakes had never been higher. What began as a puzzling disappearance now twisted into a dangerous game of trust and betrayal. The elevator was no longer just a machine. It was a gatekeeper guarding a secret that threatened to consume anyone who dared challenge it. As tension cracked between friends and foes alike, the past and present collided. The 14th floor's silence screamed louder than ever. And with every second ticking by, the line between salvation and destruction grew thinner. They were running out of time, and the elevator doors were closing again. The tension reached a fever pitch as Emily and Mark raced through the empty hallways toward the 14th floor, hearts pounding with a mix of fear and determination. They had pieced together that the elevator wasn't just a machine. It was a gateway, and Laura was trapped somewhere between worlds, caught in the other place she had written about. As they reached the elevator, the doors were already sliding open, revealing that cold, empty corridor once again. But this time it wasn't empty. A faint glow pulsed from the far end, casting long shadows that seemed to ripple like water. Laura's voice whispered in the air, a fragile thread pulling them forward. At the same moment, David's flashlight flickered out as he stood before a rusted elevator shaft in the sub-basement. Suddenly, the old elevator bell rang, sharp and clear, sending a shiver down his spine. The door creaked open, revealing a dimly lit interior that looked frozen in time. Without hesitation, he stepped inside. Back upstairs, Emily and Mark followed the glow to a nondescript door they'd never noticed before. It was heavy, cold, and locked, but with trembling hands, Mark used a key he had kept hidden, one that belonged to the secret group he'd once feared to betray. The door swung open to reveal a room bathed in soft, otherworldly light. And there, in the center, was Laura, alive but changed. Her eyes held both fear and hope. She explained that the elevator had trapped her in a place between realities, where time folded in on itself. She had been caught in a loop, trying to find a way back. The group Mark was part of had tried to keep this secret safe, believing it was too dangerous to expose. But Laura wanted freedom, not silence. David's elevator ride ended with a startling discovery, an old control panel, ancient and mysterious, with buttons and dials unlike anything he'd seen. He realized this was the heart of the secret, the mechanism controlling the gateway between worlds. With a shared understanding, the three converged, Laura, Emily, Mark, and David, combining their courage to activate the panel and open the path for Laura's return. The elevator shuddered, lights flashing wildly, and the walls seemed to ripple as if reality itself was bending. Then, just as hope surged, a shadowy figure appeared, a guardian of the gateway, neither fully human nor machine. It warned them that tampering with the balance had consequences. But Laura, with unwavering resolve, stepped forward and declared she would accept whatever fate came, choosing freedom over fear. In a blinding flash, the world shifted. Laura was back in the elevator, the doors closing behind her with a soft sigh. The 14th floor returned to normal, alive, bustling, and real. But something had changed. Mark and Emily looked around, disoriented. David stared at the control panel, now silent and lifeless. Then came the final twist. Laura's journal, once filled with cryptic notes, now bore a new entry written in her own hand, but dated years before her disappearance. Had Laura been caught in a loop, not just in place, but in time? Was the elevator a bridge across moments, not just spaces? The mystery remained, but one thing was certain. Some doors never truly close. After Laura's return, the building slowly returned to its usual rhythm, but nothing felt quite the same. The 14th floor was no longer a silent enigma, but a place marked by the memories of what had happened. Laura, once quiet and reserved, found a new strength in sharing her story, a reminder that even in the darkest mysteries, hope can survive. Mark's guilt transformed into purpose. He became determined to protect others from the secrets he once helped hide, working tirelessly to ensure the elevator's dangers were never forgotten. Emily's relentless search gave her peace, knowing she had brought her sister home and uncovered truths that demanded respect. David, once consumed by despair, found healing through acceptance, learning that sometimes love means letting go even while holding on. The elevator, once a simple machine, had revealed itself as a symbol of choices, risks, and the thin line between reality and the unknown. Laura's experience reminded everyone involved that some doors, while terrifying to open, lead to deeper understanding and growth. Yet, the mystery of the elevator's true nature lingered like a whisper. Was it a portal through time, a bridge between worlds, or something beyond human understanding? Perhaps it was all of these, a reminder that life's greatest questions often have no clear answers. As Laura looked out from her apartment window, the city lights flickered softly below. She thought about the strange journey she'd been on, the friends who stood by her, and the fragile balance between fear and hope. In the end, her story wasn't just about a missing woman or an empty floor. It was about resilience, courage, and the power to face the unknown. The elevator doors may have closed, but the echoes of that ride would resonate forever. As one wise voice once said, sometimes the scariest doors lead to the most important journeys. If stories like Laura's remind us anything, it's that every mystery deserves a voice. So if this tale moved you, please like, share, and subscribe, not for views, but to keep the conversation alive. Every story told brings us closer to truth. Every voice matters.